God, please let this happen. YouTube, what's going on? It's Juangottiwft here with another Washington Commanders video, and in today's video, I'm coming on here to talk more about Russell Wilson and how I'm not the only one that's praying, but apparently some Washington football team players are praying that we get Russell Wilson too. And yes, I know I just said football team, still growing on me, so bear with me. I will get it in my brain. Commanders, Commanders, Commanders. But without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. But before we do, make sure you guys go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload a video about the NFL, or in this case, our Washington Commanders. Let's get straight into today's video. So, Russell Wilson, more talking about Russell Wilson, because obviously this is what everyone wants. Obviously, unless you're a guy that's just sold on one player in the draft, you're looking for a trade. Like I told you, Ron Rivera said it was 4 avenues that we could possibly look at for potential quarterbacks in 2022 in the future, but it's really 2. You either draft a guy or you're trading for one of these big 3 guys, and that's Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, and Derek Carr. But more likely than not, you're probably looking in the draft, if we're keeping it real. But you can never say never, am I right? So apparently, as we know, a couple days ago, Jonathan Allen and Russell Wilson, Sierra, and his wife, Hannah, they all were together, and they took a picture at the Pro Bowl, and that got everyone talking, because it's been rumors about Russell Wilson to Washington for the longest, going back to last year. Remember when I made a video last year when I said, should we trade for Russell Wilson? It's rumors heating up. Obviously, nothing is confirmed. Nothing from Seattle or Washington has been confirmed. But it's not just us as fans rooting it up, but it's also the media personnel for Washington talking about how Russell Wilson is willing to come here too. It's a lot. So it is understanding why we believe this is something that could possibly happen. But also I want to say, stay humble, because this could be another thing of Washington getting hyped up about a player and it never happens. But nevertheless, to say this, they were together and they were mingling, they were talking, taking pictures, having fun, and apparently, and I made a joke about this a couple days ago when I said, I hope Jonathan Allen is there trying to recruit Russell Wilson. But apparently, Jonathan Allen asked the fans on Twitter to ask him anything, and the fan said, is Russell coming to D.C.? And he said, I hope so. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, maybe he was trying to recruit Russell Wilson, which I really hope he was. But that goes to show you that Jonathan Allen is just like us, and he wants Russell Wilson here just like us. And again, shout out to Big John, man, coming off of a great season, and he interacts with the fans a lot. I mean, I talked to him in his Twitch chat before. He was chatting with me about a possible interview and stuff like that. So he interacts with the fans a lot. But to see a Washington Commander player come out and, actually acknowledge that, and I'm pretty sure they know that, that we need a star quarterback, and Russell Wilson is a guy that he would like to have here, just like us, it just feels good, man, and I hope it pushes Ron Rivera and Martin Mayhew and Marty Herney to really want to get this quarterback situation figured out, because obviously we know we're a quarterback away. I say this in every video. I understand we have minor problems like still middle linebacker, still free safety, and stuff like that. But if we get a quarterback, a lot of that is going to get covered up by how good our quarterback play is. So that's why it's important that we land a guy like Russell Wilson, or we hit in the gym with a guy in the draft. But again, that's not likely this up-and-coming season. But Russell Wilson, I want to talk more about him, because it was some interesting things that came out per Miss Reynolds on Twitter. She talked about how last year their GM in Seattle met with Ryan Pace, Chicago Bears GM last year, about a potential trade involving Russell Wilson. Because you remember, for the longest, Chicago was a hot landing spot for Russell Wilson at a point in time, but that obviously fell through. So let's read what Miss Reynolds had to say on Twitter. This was a conversation apparently that happened last year during North Dakota's Pro Day, and they were obviously there to see Trey Lance. So let's read about it. Out of all those 4 potential landing spots, the Bears proved to be the most aggressive counting for Wilson. Per Ian Rappaport, NFL Network Seattle general manager John Schneider met with Bears general manager Ryan Pace when the two were in Fargo, North Dakota last week for a North Dakota State Pro Day to discuss a potential trade. Ultimately, without a quality quarterback or a top pick coming back in return, Coach Pete Carroll shot down the proposal, reportedly declining an offer for 3 first-round picks, a 3rd-round pick, and 2 unnamed starters. So Pete Carroll, and this is no surprise again, Pete Carroll is basically what Ron Rivera is to us. He's their general manager. Although John Snyder is Seattle's general manager, it's really Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll shot that thing down. And could you blame him? You're giving up Russell Wilson for basically, I wouldn't say nothing, because you're getting 3 future first-round picks back. But again, you don't know where those are going to be at. And assuming that Russell Wilson goes to Chicago and he changes that team around and make him a contender, those picks are going to be in the back end of the 1st round. And you're getting 2 unnamed starters that you don't even know who they are. Right, that we don't know who they are. Obviously, Pete Carroll does. And he wasn't getting a quarterback in return. So, obviously, he shot that down. Now that brings up us, Washington Commanders. What if we offer 3 first-round picks, a 3rd-round pick, and Taylor Heinicke? I think you honestly may have to throw Taylor Heinicke in that mix, guys. I understand Taylor Heinicke is a phenomenal backup, probably one of the best backups in all of football, but we may have to throw Taylor Heinicke in there. That's my biggest thing with this whole situation is I think Seattle wants to have a little bit of some comfort knowing that they're going to lose their superstar quarterback in Russell Wilson. That, hey, man, Taylor Heinicke isn't no Russell Wilson, but at least I know he can go out there and ball. I mean, if they would have traded them last year, and obviously they could have used one of those picks on Justin Fields or something like that, but obviously they didn't think that highly of that last year's draft class, and obviously the Bears pick wasn't in a position to get Trevor Lawrence or Zach Wilson or someone like that. So obviously they didn't want that trade because, again, there was no quarterback there for the taking at the time. So that's why that fell through. But again, what if we trade Taylor Heinicke and he can be a quality starter for Seattle while they enhance that rebuild there up in the Pacific Northwest, man? I'm just saying, I think that would be a really good deal. I think we need to possibly think about including Taylor Heinicke in one of these trades. Again, it's not going to matter about having a good backup because Russell Wilson stays healthy for the most part, and he's going to win you games. So again, it would suck losing Taylor Heinicke, but I would just re-sign Kyle Allen. You know what I'm saying? You can find a backup. It's Russell Wilson we're talking about here. We're not talking about a guy that constantly gets hurt. We're not talking about Jimmy Garoppolo. We're talking about Russell Wilson. A guy that is not only an MVP caliber quarterback, a Super Bowl winning quarterback, but he stays healthy. That's a big problem in this day and age with these smaller frame quarterbacks, i.e. Taylor Heinicke. Even though he did a good job for the most part, you could tell he was getting up slow. He took some shots. He really felt it because he's a smaller frame kind of quarterback. So when he gets hit, it hurts more than it would if it was a Josh Allen or Justin Herbert type. But Russell Wilson, he doesn't show that. He doesn't show that. So I honestly think, along with having to give up probably like 2-3 first-round picks, along with possibly having to give up Montez Sweat or Chase Young or something like that, you may have to throw in Taylor Heinicke. And I know this sounds crazy, but guys, we have to get our quarterback situation figured out. So you may have to throw in some guys that you really don't want to give away, but it's all for the better. Now, here's some other things I was talking about. What if we did a 3-way trade, right, where we had to trade our first-round pick for this year and probably next year to move up in this year's draft class, let's say to the top 5, to get Russell Wilson to make that first-round pick more intriguing for Seattle. It's a lot going on in my brain, man. But again, this isn't the perfect draft to want to be in the top 5 because, again, these guys aren't the best. It's not that dog out there, and again, Seattle could possibly find that, but again, it's not that bona fide number 1 like Trevor Lawrence, like Justin Fields, or like Joe Burrow, and like Kyler Murray in recent history. So again, it's a lot going on up in here, man. I have a lot of creative trade packages that I can come up with, but I really want you guys to consider trading Taylor Heinicke, man, because again, Seattle wants to feel comfortable with giving up Russell Wilson, or at least a little bit at peace, because you're not going to feel comfortable giving up Russell Wilson. But at least if they get Taylor Heinicke in return, I think that would make them, bite the bait of trading Russell Wilson to us a little bit more. Because last year, they talked about how we wanted to trade for Matthew Stafford, and we were close to getting Matt Stafford. But the reason why we didn't get Matt Stafford is because the Rams had Jared Goff to insert in that trade, and Detroit got a quarterback back. That could be the same with Seattle. They just want some type of quality starter back in return, and we'll be good. So yeah, man, there you have it. Let me know what you guys think about this video down below in the comment section. Are you willing to trade Taylor Heinicke for a quarterback, a top-tier quarterback? quarterback in Russell Wilson or someone else, John Allen sure as well want Russell Wilson here, and I'm with him too. So yeah, man, let me know what you guys think about this video down below. As always, me and Boy Juangotti. Like, comment, subscribe, help to the Washington Commanders. I'm out. Peace.